Now, after knowing how to add raster layers or vector layers to our map, now is the time to discover what interactions we can do with the map. So, by interactions, what I mean is uh, giving your user an opportunity to play with the map in certain ways, like he can drag and create a box, or he can drag and drop some things onto your map, apparently like a GeoJSON file or a shape file or a KML file or something like that, or he can draw something on your map, or he can operate the zoom levels with using keyboard and many more. So let's just go to OpenLayers documentation and see what interactions OpenLayers allows their user to do. So I'll just go to their documentation page and I will just simply search for OL interaction. So if you can see, there are bunch of classes we can choose from. So there are many options that OpenLayers provides us, and maybe that is why they are really famous in open source industry. So we'll discover bunch of these options, and later you on your own can try out another options as well, and if you're stuck you can of course get back to me. So let's start by adding simple this drag box option. So this will allow user to draw a vector box by clicking and dragging on the map, normally combined with OL events condition that limits it to when the shift or other key is hold down. Alright, so it looks like we can draw a box using this interaction, and now let's check what options we can pass. So first is class name. They have a default, so we don't need to pass it. Condition. So by condition it means if you want to activate this with some kind of click on the map. So let's say when I click control on my keyboard and start dragging on the map, then I want to activate this drag box. So in those conditions I can use this condition variable, I mean key in the options, and pass the control key. Then we have a min area. So what is the minimum area we should capture in the box? So there is again a default value, and box end condition, the function that makes a OL dot browser event and two OL pixel indicate whether box end event should be fired. Default it is true. Alright, so what does that means is we can define a interaction OL interaction dot drag box. So let's get to our code and try to add it. So I have a view, a base map, and my map. That's all. Alright, let's start by exploring the drag box. So what I'll do, I'll simply type drag box. So if we go back to our OpenLayers documentation and search for OL interaction drag box, you will see that there are bunch of options that we can pass. Options such as class name, which they have a default, then condition, that means on click of any button if you want to execute this. We have min area and box end condition. So for now I think most of our needed options have default values, so we don't need to give anything. We can simply define variable called as drag box equals to new, or I can simply copy this OL interaction drag box, and we can keep these options empty for now, and I'll just add this interaction on the map. So add interaction drag box, and I think that's all. So if I go back to my map, you can see that by clicking and then dragging I'm able to draw this rectangle on my map. Great, isn't it? We are able to create this drag box, so I can zoom in, zoom out using my scroll, and I can just simply click on map and then drag it. So awesome, we are able to drag the map. Alright, but that's not it. If you look closely, you can see with all interactions you will have these fires. That means you can add these events. So you can add event when you are dragging the box, or box ends, or box starts. So let's try to add a box start event to see what do I mean by that. So what I'll do, drag box dot on start, or box start, I believe box start. I can simply write this function known as event, and I can just simply console log box event started. Alright, now if I just save it and go back to my map and play it, you can see that if I go to my console, when I start creating this drag box, my event get fired. So you can see that we are firing box start event when we start drawing this drag box. Cool, isn't it? So one of the use case with this may be when you start drawing the box, you can notify your user that like drag box event has started, or maybe you can also change the cursor or something like that. Great. Now what we will do is we'll try to zoom to the extent of box at the end of the drag. All right. So it looks like we want to add an event at the end of the drag. So how can we do that? Now let's see. So it is much obvious now that if we want to add an event at the end of the drawing box, we can search for a fire event that will let us do that. So we have a box end, right? So simply we can first try to console log on box end. So yeah, it is box end. Write a function event. So basically what this event means is the event when the box end happened. So you can grab many important things from these events, such as the coordinates of our dragged box or something like that. Alright, cool. Now let's console log box ended successfully. Alright, so now let's see it working. Now when I start creating the drag box, I get the box event started, and when I complete this, I get the event box ended successfully. So at least now I know that my functions are correct. So what I need to do is, now I need to find out the extents of my drag box, right? So I can do that by simply putting the check here on the box end. So when I'm done with box end, I can see that my var drag box can fetch me some geometry. So if I do get geometry, you can see that this is the geometry of our drop box or a drag box. So I can simply do get extent to get the extent of that box. Now I know the extent of that box. Now my next job will be to apply this extent to our map. So how to do that? I can show you directly in the code, but let's just find on the internet. So set extent in open layers. Alright, maybe open layers 4. So this Stack Overflow answer, and it looks like, yeah, we can use this piece of code map.getView.fit and pass our extent, and then pass this parameter as map.getSize. So I can simply copy it and put it in my box end event, and instead of my extent I will simply put this. Alright, so I think I've got it all covered. Now let's see it in working. So if I go back, if I refresh and remove my pointer or a debugger, you can see that I'm able to zoom in, zoom out. But as soon as I start dragging and as soon as I end dragging, my map is changing its extent. Nice, right? I'm getting the extent of my map based on my drag box. So this is one of the use case of the this interaction drag box. Now let's try our hands on something else, maybe a drag and drop. So this is a fun way to add a new GeoJSON to our map, right? So I'll just comment this drag box interaction, and now we will do something like drag and drop interaction. All right, cool. Let's get back to documentation and read more about it. So yeah, there we go, drag and drop. So again, drag and drop handles input of vector data by drag and drop, and we have to format constructors. So this will be an array of different types of features that we want to allow, and then a source where we want to allow it, a projection and a target. So yeah, it's pretty much sorted. So one thing that you will notice that what we are trying to do with this drag and drop is adding the data such as GeoJSON or KML or something like that to our map by simply dragging and dropping it. That means we will at least need a source and a layer present on the map already in which we will add new features, right? So our first job in drag and drop is to create those layers and sources. So var drag source will be equal to plain new ol dot source dot vector. So I don't think we need to provide anything inside this. And the second is var drag layer equals to new ol dot layer, I mean vector, and I think yeah, we'll just need to provide the source in it. Source is drag source, right? And finally we'll just add this layer to the map. So map dot add layer, and we'll simply add this drag layer to the map. So sorted. Now we have the layer. Now we want to use our drag and drop functionality to drag and drop our GeoJSON to this map. So what we can do, we can simply copy this drag and drop, declare a variable known as drag and drop equals to new ol dot drag drop. So we can pass format constructor. I think this will be mandatory because this will determine which formats are we allowing, and it is an array. So maybe ol dot format dot geojson for now. You can of course add more and more formats, and then the source will be our drag source, right? So you can add styling to it if you need, but for now I'll keep the things simple. Projection, target projection, by default maps view projection is used. Yeah, so that sounds alright. Now we'll simply add this drag and drop interaction to our map. So map dot add interaction drag and drop, and I think that's it. So now let's get back to our map. So yeah, it looks okay. Now I'll simply go to my data folder and I'll simply try to add this police GeoJSON to our map. So there we go. All right, we can see that our data is added to the map. Great, right? So we were able to do it in a fun way. And again, if you look into the documentation, there are some fires such as add features, change active, property change, etc. And you can play with it. So for now, I think what we can do is we can console log how many features have been added, right? Or maybe we can just print each feature, right? So how to do it? We'll add this add features thing to our interaction. So drag and drop on add features. So I can copy this add features function event. So let's for now console.log added new feature. Alright, so I'll just simply add a debugger to this add features thing, and now I will again drag and drop my file here. So now if you can see, we get an event, and inside event we have all the features. So there are almost 886 features. So you can see that we have added all the features. So I can simply, you know, try to create some models or try to change my maps color or something like that on adding this information, or simply I can do something like when I'm adding something new to my map. So I'm deleting the previous one and I'm adding a new data to it. So alright, so these are some things that you can do with the drag and drop interaction. Now let's move ahead to another interesting and rather mostly, I can say that mostly used type of interaction, that is a draw interaction. So we'll just comment this line and go towards draw interaction. Cool. So basically what draw interaction means is that you will get an ability to draw on the map and then save that feature or something like that. So this draw interaction is something that we will be using for our final project. If you remember our project statement correctly, we want user to click on a map and create a point. That means we are drawing a point on the map, right? And then we want that user to add information such as his health status and everything. So yeah, we'll keep that for the future. For now, let's just look at the documentation about draw. While interaction, and I can search for the draw. So yeah, draw comes with bunch of options to provide from. Great, right? And then they have draw start, draw end. Awesome. So let's get started by building the simple version of draw. So if you look in the documentation, you will see that click tolerance, features, source, snap tolerance, type, stop click, max point, min point, there are bunch and bunch of options. But the very important ones are the source, because again we are drawing something on the map. That means we are adding the geometry to the map, so we'll need a vector source for this. And the next is type. So what type of geometry we want to draw? Do we want to draw point or line string, polygon, multi-polygon, multi-line string, whatever it may be. So let's try to build a simple draw version and then we will complicate the things. So as we did in drag and drop interactions, we first need to add the vector layers and vector source. So var draw source again equal to new ol dot source dot vector. Cool. And then var draw layer equal to new ol dot layer dot vector and source as draw source. Of course you can style and do all the things that we did previously with our adding vector layer, such as creating conditional styling and all. Okay, now let's add this interaction to the map. So map dot add interaction to the map. So we haven't actually did an important thing, that is declaring this interaction. So var draw equals to new ol dot interaction dot draw, and the thing that we need to provide first is source, so let the source be draw source, and then the type, so let the type be polygon for now. Alright, and then we will add this draw interaction to the map, and that's all. Now let's get back to our open layers and see if we have everything that we need. So it looks like this polygon needs to be a string, and there we go. Now if you can notice, I have this point that is following my cursor. So if I just click somewhere, you can see that I am able to draw a polygon on my map. So how cool is that, guys? Right? So I can simply double click and it will vanish. Can you guess the reason why it is vanishing? That is because I didn't added this layer to the map. Map dot add layer, draw layer. Now if I go back and try to draw a polygon, you can see that the polygon stays on the map, right? So I can add as much polygons as I want. Cool. I can simply change it to line string, save it, go back to my map, and I am able to add lines. That's awesome, right? We can draw on our map as we want. Cool. Now let's discuss some of the other options as well. So minimum points, the number of points that must be drawn before a polygon ring or a line string can be finished. The default is 3 for the polygon, and rings it is 2. That means if I change my min points for my line to be 4, I'll just check the spelling once. So yeah, and if I go back to my OpenLayers application, if I try to double click, I'm not able to stop this interaction. That is because I need to have at least 4 points with me. So this is min point, and then similarly we have max point, styling, geometry name, and freehand. This freehand is really awesome. So what you can do is you can just pass freehand equals to true, and what this will enable you to do is think I'm just missing something. Let me just check. Yeah, it's a boolean. So I think I'll need to remove this, and yeah, I think the error is here. So now if I go back to my map, you can see that I can draw the line as I want. So it's not a click on point and get the straight line kind of deal right now. So I can be as much flexible as I want. So in a way, you can just put simply your signature on the world. Great, right? It's fun. So you can do the same thing with the polygon. This freehand things comes in handy with polygons, because many times, like let's say if I want to create a polygon covering this island, I can simply follow this, and I'm extremely sorry for my bad painting skills, but yeah, that's there. We're able to create a freehand polygon. We can also uh, condition this freehand polygon based on a click and everything, but I think you get the idea about it, right? Now let's see the events that it can fire. So the most important one is the draw end event. So many times what happens is, once we have drawn, what we want to do is we want to save it somewhere and then again start drawing, but we want to delete the first one, first feature. So what I mean by that is when I start drawing, I want to draw this, but when I want to draw something else, I want my initial feature to be deleted and only one feature to remain on the map, right? So I can do that using the draw end command. So what I want to do that on draw end function event. If you can see that we have passed the source as draw source. So what we can do, on every draw end we can clear the source, right? So by clear it means that all the features which are inside this draw source will be deleted. So I can simply start creating one source, I mean one feature, and when I'm creating something else, you can see that my previous feature is now deleted. Similarly, if I create something here, it will be deleted. Here it will be deleted, like that. So this is also very important when you want to get the geometry of the event. So we'll try to do that here. So if I just put the debugger here, you can see that. So if I look into event dot get I mean target and dot geometry, or maybe coordinates, I'm not sure. We'll try some of the things and then we'll turn our searching to the Google. So get geometry of drawn feature on draw end in open layers. So yeah, Stack Overflow seems to have an answer to this. So let's get back to answers. Alright, so we can do event features and then feature.get geometry. So basically event dot feature, and we got the feature, and from feature we can do get geometry. Alright, great. So I can get the geometry, I can get its flat coordinates, so I can get the coordinates list. So it's a pretty long list of 208 mm, 208 points. So yeah, that's because we are using freehand. So basically you get the idea that now that I'm getting this geometry, I can save it in my database or somewhere from which I can use it for my further calculations, right? Similar thing we can also do with the draw start. So for example, I can change my mouse to loading cursor or a pencil cursor or something like that with these events. So basically what we were trying to do with the interactions was we were trying to create a way for our user to interact with our map in different ways, such as it can be by drag and dropping some files to add the layer, it can be to draw on the map, it can be anything else. So I hope the draw concept was clear to you. Now here comes the question for the interaction session. So the question is, create a draw interaction where user can select the type of interaction and draw on the map, and on draw end user will see the coordinates of drawn geometry in console log. Alright, so that's the question for us. So stay tuned for the answer, and I hope the interaction was clear to you. Thank you.